Bobcat's the market leader. Undisputed, have been, and probably will continue to be. T76 is a 325 size machine, has a little more operating weight than we do. These are good, solid machines overall, guys. It's tough to knock them in a lot of things. A couple things we'll point out here. The quick attach coupler. This front structure here that's not smooth steel. The side plates that run off here that connect to hold the boom together in proportional straight. And this big bar in the back, that is all cast steel. Not cast iron, cast steel, okay? Obviously you can see you can weld it, but it's a pretty intense procedure of keeping this at a constant temperature while you're welding it, okay? Anybody have a G-Series skid steer that the customer fussed about spending 80 bucks for a pair of boom pins replacement? Okay, well, this is a cast steel coupler to a cast steel frame with a hardened pin. What's going to win?
Pin.
The pin. Everybody that owns a Bobcat never runs it in mud and stops and greases it every 4 hours, right, guys? So, not many Bobcat dealers are set up to machine anything, let alone heat and weld and deal with cast steel, okay? A lot of guys have had customers that have already had these loader frames fail from impact. It's something to talk about. I think in general it's not that big of a deal, but it is a point to talk about. You got a guy that's going to continually, you know, work the machine as severe applications, heavy applications. It's something to talk about. Big piece to talk about is the 770 and the 750, 770 and 870 are done. What's ever out there on the dealer's inventory is what's left. Production has started on the 82, 84, and 86, okay? I'm sure there's probably some differentiation in frame thickness and a few things here and there just from a weight perspective, but this frame size right here is the exact same frame size that the 82 through 86 are, okay? Probably for production costs, they're able to run the line, keep the same jigs and everything, and they're gonna sell what they're doing. They're marketing it already as they've listened to their customer and they've made the machine narrow at 80 inches so that you can put it in a fender trailer at 81.5 inches and drive straight through with an 80-inch bucket on a large 100 horsepower machine, okay? So be prepared for that because they're gonna market the hell out of that. We're 84 inches, 82 inches track to track. You can't get around it. It is what it is. So kind of be cognizant of that. Talk about stability. Bobcat shifted from a 70-30 ratio to a 60-40 ratio on the R-Series machines. So the machine handles differently than what a lot of customers are used, traditional Bobcat customers are used to. If you guys come here and stand at the front of the machine and kind of look in, they've done a really good job of protecting the drive motor lines from the outside, but if you stand here and you look in and you really get visibility to this while you're with the cab up in the air, all the dirt, debris, everything's gonna fall down off those tracks and land right in that nicely protected cover where the material can't fall out of. I don't know about your market. A lot of our guys will move dirt today, and if it's going to snow tomorrow, the machine gets loaded on the trailer and goes out and pushes snow and deals with the salt and everything else. You guys got people handling anything that's caustic? Talk about that. Their hydraulic tank sight glass is right there at the top of the middle of the top of the track on the side. 6 months out of the year when the machine's covered in mud, you're never going to be able to see the hydraulic sight glass level right there where Cliff's standing. You think the hydraulic sight glass ever going to get checked? The cap's plastic, it's vented through the top. Little flap door there to open up. Yep.
Weird. It seems like they manipulated the hoses to make everything
Oh yeah.
kind of fit.
Yep. Guys, it's not really a problem on the 76s, but on the 66, 64, and 62, if you look on this side, all their wiring comes into the back side of the cab over here. You got all these plastic snaps here. This is their HVAC filter. This is what you have to do to change their HVAC filter. You have to raise the cab to change their HVAC filter. Okay? Who's the biggest, strongest guy we got here? No one wants to volunteer? You should volunteer. I think you can handle it.
Sure.
Reach up there and grab the front of that cab. Lift it up a little bit. All right, now let her down. All right, just stop right there. We'll let you hold it. Now push it back up. That was too easy. It didn't work this way. The freaking camera, yeah, this freaking camera doesn't work. All right. All right, set her back down. Now go ahead and just set it back down.
Set it down?
Just set it down. All right, now lift it up. Okay, 1,200 hours, guys. 4-year-old machine. Shocks are shot. It takes all you got to lift that cab up. Everything you got. Okay. Batteries in the front of the machine. They have a jump start terminal in the back, but the battery's all the way tucked up here in the front, so you got to raise the cab to get that. You got to raise the cab to change your HVAC filters. Any questions so far? Okay. Come to the back.
What's that little radiator cooling?
This is your condenser for your AC. So guys, the people that are loyal Bobcat guys, what kind of engines did Bobcat run forever and a day? Kubota. If they had 2 quarts of oil in it and fuel, it would run forever, right? Never changed the oil in it, just kept running it. Right, Dan?
Right.
That's the way the old 864s were, T300s. As long as they had some oil in them and some fuel, they'd run forever and a day. So, what's Bobcat running for engines today? Doosan. What's their claim to fame in sub 75 horsepower machines? Nobody has DEF under 75 horsepower. No DPF. They don't have a DPF. So how do these guys get to meet Tier 4 emissions without a DPF and everybody else has a DPF? In-cylinder dosing. So they run a 60% of the exhaust gas gets recirculated back into the intake. Depending on the horsepower setting, altitude, temperature, all kinds of variables the ECU determines, there's between 4 and 6 injection cycles on the injectors. So at the end of the injection cycle, based on the temperature of the engine, all these variables, what you eventually get is the dilution of the fuel in the cylinder with the EGR washes out the cylinder pistons and the wear surface of the engine that the piston rings ride on. So this system works unbelievably well if you have an 85% load factor 100% of the time. Okay?
Got to be running hard.
Pretty much no issue. Okay? Our friends over at CAT have this great new monitor. It tells you anything and everything. That machine's got 180 hours on it. What's the percentage of idle time out of 180 hours on that CAT over there? 47.4% of the time's idle. You do that with this engine, 1,500 to 2,500 hours you're putting an engine in it. It's going to be like our old 40-24 and 50-30. You go out on a 30-degree day, you go to crank on it, you're getting a new battery and a can of ether. Okay? There's no getting around it, guys. In the ag application, in a rubber tire situation, it's even a bigger thing to talk about because you physically, unless you're running a hydraulic attachment on it that's working the hydraulics pretty significantly, you can't get, it's a struggle to get a 50% load factor on a rubber tire skid steer. That's why the fuel consumption is so much better.
Now, have they run into these issues?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So the old Bobcat owners that ran it for a year and forever on 2 quarts of oil, I mean, what is their response to getting into a new machine and then the engine blows up?
We've got a lot of guys to change. They still got loyal guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of it depends on the dealer and the relationship, guys. I mean, it's, you know, we're here to educate you on what is the differences and what, you know, how do you sell against it. And it's really about, that's what you got to sell against. It's a problem and it's not going to go away, you know.
We got a new Bobcat dealer down the street, and I had a guy come in. They could not service his stand-on lawnmower. There was nobody that could help him.
Yeah.
And he's running the business. You know, he's a commercial guy. And he's like, I'm never buying another thing from them. They pissed him off so bad that they couldn't help him fix a flat tire.
Yep.
That he's never going to buy a Bobcat again.
So, just the new current production machines run 2 fuel filters on them. This was Bobcat's answer, was the dirty fuel was causing the engine failures. That's what they told their customers when the real problem is the EGR. A lot of these machines, this is the update. They had a bigger filter base to them and a larger filter to increase their fuel filter life. But it's an issue. Anybody that owns a Bobcat, if they've got 2,500 or 3,000 hours on it, they've experienced this problem. They know what they're talking about. They run a hydraulic fan motor. It is reversing. They do put a filter on it because it is common sump. It pulls out of the tank. So if the hydraulic motor fails, they do put a filter on it so it catches everything. In the T650 and the M Series 2, which went out of production in 20, is now being produced as the M Series 3 in the Czech Republic. In Northern Virginia, we got a ton of Portuguese concrete guys, and they love them some hand and foot controls. Okay? Value, price, product, hand and foot controls, and you can get it in EH. Okay? Very limited in options. It's cab air, quick attach, and that's what you're getting. Okay? Or you're getting an open station machine. But they've brought the M Series 3 machine back, T595, T650. It looks and smells the same. It's built in the Czech Republic, and it's not built with the same quality of components that were in the original M Series 2 machines that the guys running are probably trading right now. So it's a price point machine. Bobcat's going to talk about it. They're really going to talk about it on the 650 guys because they know this machine sucks. This machine is just like our 325. When you start it, you move it, it whines, it growls, it makes noise. So does the 650. So don't be disappointed. We're not the only ones that make noise when you move. Okay? This machine does the exact same thing. But they're still Bobcat guys, and they get forgiven for a lot of things because they're Bobcat.
Everyone associates a skid steer.
Yep.
They call it a Bobcat.